2 of my AT&T Long Lines Tower series. Now this one here is going to be Alaska. So all the AT&T Long Lines Towers up in Alaska this time, so yeah. I'm just working my way down the list I have of all the states and stuff as I cross them off and I filmed all of them. So this one here is another dead Long Lines Tower for a beginning of the video. The same as the last video I did. It's a dead Long Lines Tower at the beginning, so yeah. This one here was taken down. Well, no, actually it still has the tower. That's at least a replacement tower. So there's at least a tower that still remains on the site, but the older one's gone. So here's another one that they built a factory near. So there's a lot of Long Lines towers up in Alaska that have been taken down for factories. So yeah, the one actually stood right here where this stuff is. But it was taken down in the 90s or early 2000s. So anyways, I'm gonna preserve all the Long Lines towers in the United States in the future. And I figured since I know they're all at, I'm gonna screen record them, so yeah. Now this one here also has an Earth to satellite station, space to Earth satellite station. And there's the tower right here. It still remains, the Long Lines tower does. It looks like a four-legged red and white tower that's been repurposed. It's in the middle of nowhere, so I don't see it being repurposed, for being out in the middle of nowhere. And then here's another one that still remains at a factory. So luckily the factory was able to repurpose it. And if you was wondering, the Google Maps in Alaska sucks. Like the aerial footage, it's just blurry. It's blurry, so it just sucks, And I don't like how it's not high quality of it, so. I tried to film all these towers I can there in high quality and stuff and trying to edit these pictures to make them high quality. But, it still didn't work. I just made them worse. But anyways, yeah, so this Long Lines tower here still stands as well. So, it's got a set of microwave dishes and one at the top. And this one here has one of those big Earth to satellite stations right there. So here's another poor quality of a Long Lines tower in Alaska. I just told about this, it's poor quality up in Canada and Alaska. I don't know why, but it has something to do with their cameras. But, I just wish it was a lot more better in those areas. Because you hear in the United States, where most of the states are at, it's all high quality, Google Maps, and they're also coming out with high quality street views as well, so I just wish they had the same thing up in Alaska and Canada. And also in Mexico too, because eventually I'm going to film all the towers in Mexico and Canada, so hopefully that series will turn out good. So here's some more dead Long Lines towers at these sites. This one here still stands because you can see a shadow of it. And not too long ago I remember finding it and you can actually just barely see the tower. And then here's one that still remains too. This one here is in the middle of a camp now. So yeah, it's got these two buildings right here for overnight stay. And this is just right behind it, So yeah, this one here is built behind the... So all the ones I've filmed so far, they're in factories. Well, there's this company that bought most of them, and they built their factories around them. I don't know what the factories are for, but they for some reason bought most of Alaskan Long Lines towers. Now, Alaska has a handful of Long Lines towers. I thought they would have just a route of them. But until I found out back in 2020 that they had more, I'm like, wow, there's a whole bunch of them up there, because this one here, the foundation to the building still remains, but the footings to the tower and the tower itself are all gone because of the houses and stuff. So yeah, and here's one in the middle of that kind of factory again. So this one here is still standing, as I know, but its big building had to be taken down because no one used it. It was turned into a storage building for a while, but they just couldn't keep it anymore, so it was falling apart and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, here's some more that still stand on top of mountains and stuff. Some of these are pretty hard to find, like this one. This one here actually stands beside a red and white tower, modern incandescent. Yep, there's one with the shadow in the small town in Alaska. So yeah, pretty much most of these ones around this part of the video still stand, except this one. So yeah, some of these were satellite stations from Earth, Earth to space and stuff, and underground fiber optic stations. And there's another one of those poor quality camera Google Map things again. Now this one here is a guide to Long Lines Tower, and I can tell just by looking at the area it stands in. And so here's a dead AT&T Earth to satellite station. It was taken down for a ham radio station actually, because there's this old Google Earth thing. I went back in time on it, and you can see a bunch of construction going on. It's all bulldozed dirt now, so this place has been condemned and permanently gone because of houses and stuff. So I'm just going to show you guys, scroll through a few pictures of these towers, just so the video's not too long, because I wanted to get started on the next part of the video, part 3 of it, which is going to be Arizona. So yeah, I wanted to make this kind of quick than the series and stuff, so hopefully it's not too long, but there's going to be 50 videos for us. So yeah. I was kind of excited to get started on this series, but there's a lot of tower screenshots I have to take and edit. So yeah, there's lots of beaconless long lines towers in this series. Most of them are gray. Like maybe half of the percentage of long lines towers in Alaska are gray. There's still a lot of them up there that are still red and white, so yeah, at least they have the original paint for most of them. So yeah, now some of these long line towers have been replaced by standard cell towers. I think this one here might have been the one that was taken down. No, that's a different one. Yeah. Now there's one in this part video that was actually from a YouTube video a long time ago of a guy climbing a long lines tower, and there's a radar tower next to it. So wait, this one's the one that's actually dead. Believe it or not, but there's actually a YouTube video of this tower falling over, and at the end of it you can hear glass breaking. That's the old school incandescent on it that's breaking up. They used explosives to take the tower down. It's from a controlled demolition company, but they actually have a bunch of shots of when they took it down on the different sides of the tower. And here's some in the same area of it and down the path from it. So yeah, this one has a truck near it because they're building a new house here. But there's a house where a long lines tower used to be. But yeah, it seems kind of sad to me, and this is another Earth station. Now that antenna right there is the tower between the antennas. That's the long lines tower. And then here's a long lines tower duo. These two red and white towers are long lines towers. And that's just a regular tower. But these two here are the old towers. And then here's one that's been repurposed. It's on top of an AT&T building. AT&T still owns this one, and because of that it might be in risk of demolition, but since they got the antennas on it that they're using, it's not going to be taken down for a long time. And another rooftop long lines tower died a long time ago. So yeah, these are all just like dead long lines towers up in the Alaskan area and all that. So yeah, here's one that's got a single microwave dish. Now in this video, you're going to find all kinds of cool long lines towers upcoming in the pictures I want to show you in a little bit. There's two of them that are very small, and you can actually see all the detail on those long lines towers. So I'm just going to try and get to those. Yeah, so this is one of them. You can actually see the beacon. Well, it looks like it's beaconless, but it probably has markers. And this is one of those towers that's built in the factory area. I think I see markers right there off to the platform, so it probably does have a beacon or markers at the top as well. So yeah, a lot of these towers were very hard to find a long time ago, but I pretty much memorized their areas now. So yeah, these are all the cool long lines towers and the ones that still remain up in Alaska, so yeah. So these ones here are silver long lines towers. This one here was a long lines tower duo, but one of them was taken down in the 90s. Then the other one was taken down in the early 2000s because they didn't use them anymore. So they were both gray towers, and they were very small. So it's usually the smaller long lines towers that are always gray, and some of them were gray to begin with, like originally, because it's only the taller long lines towers that are red and white. But in Alaska, most of them seem to be red and white, and some are gray. But yeah, here's one in the middle of an airport that got repurposed. It's probably got lights on it now to, like, for the airport and stuff. So here's one of those cool ones I talked to you guys about, or I was telling you guys about. But you can see all the microwave antennas and all that, and the base of it. So this one's a very cool Alaskan long lines tower for AT&T, and I'm surprised they built it this small for being like in a bunch of mountains and stuff. Because this tower could have been built on top of the mountain right there, and it could have had better communication. So yeah, these are some more dead ones and live ones. Now, a lot of these ones here have been repurposed, such as this one that's out in the middle of nowhere, so it couldn't have been repurposed because there's nobody living near it that uses cell phones because it's in the middle of nowhere. So this one here is probably in risk of demolition because it's not repurposed, and it probably never will because of it being in the middle of nowhere. So yeah, these are some more I found from the low quality Google Maps. I really wish I could have gone back in time on Google Earth to see a lot of these dead long lines towers. But I probably will eventually. And like at the end of the series, I'm going to go back through and film a lot of the long lines towers that I missed. So in my next two series playlists and stuff, I'm going to do a Western Union long lines tower series. And I'm also going to do an MCI long lines tower series. And possibly a CenturyLink long lines tower series. Because I know of a cool looking CenturyLink long lines tower that's disguised as a regular guides tower now. So yeah, these AT&T had a very unique long lines network, and it was the first of the kind back in the day, you know. And those were like one of the very first towers they had back then, along with skyscrapers and Western Union towers. I mainly like the AT&T long lines network the most because all the towers and their designs, and all the concrete long lines towers. So this is the end of part 2, and Arizona I think is going to be the next part. I'll have to go back in my list again. Part 3 I think will be the Arizona, so I'm going to work on that later.